Welcome back, everyone, to our first look at New Cycle. Hello, welcome, good to see you all here, and thank you very much for watching. Today's episode is also sponsored by the makers of New Cycle, so check it out with the links down below in the description. And good news, the demo, by the way, down there should be free to play for Steam's Build Fest going on. And of course, this is a new post-apocalyptic building game, and so it's got all the right things that you probably are looking for on the channel, especially if you watch all the time, as we cover a tremendous amount of city builders, and those of which are post-apocalyptic and survival. All right, let's go ahead and start a new game. Today we're going to start a fresh game based on all the things that we've learned in a recent live stream about some other features that I may have missed previously and things that I just hadn't explored up until now. Now keep in mind, when this game releases, it will have a sandbox mode, a campaign mode, and what seems to be a couple of other scenarios which, do involve apparently being attacked, as it says, self-defense mechanisms or mechanics in order to defend yourself. So it could be walls, towers, guns, robots, I don't really know. But the game will also have conveyor belts and a lot more automation, and also a lot more factories towards the end. Apparently there's like 5 tiers in this game, and so the first couple are kind of just setting up a basic camp and attracting people to settle there, so then you can have a big enough workforce to industrialize. So it does start out kind of feeling like a weirdly mixed, like, Renaissance era or medieval game that then quickly becomes an industrial game, and it becomes gritty and dirty and industrial. Very interesting. All right, let's go ahead and jump into a sandbox mode, and we'll take a look at a few of the different places we can settle, which include a meadow, a tundra, a mountain, and a desert. But for now, we're going to jump into the meadow, as that's the only one playable for now. But of course, the mountain will allow for us to have seasonal cycles that are more aggressive. We will face winter in the meadow, but in tundra, mountain, and desert regions, the weather and the winter will be much different. This game also does feature a kind of like disaster system. So there are like asteroids that can crash down to Earth and, create a massive debris field or some sort of destruction in your city that will have to be put out, fires and things like that. And also sandstorms, which will cause electrical damage to things and slow down production, and people will have to stay indoors. So there's a lot of cool things that this game is working with so far, but this is just simply like a pre-alpha demo. The full game ain't even complete yet, nowhere near that, so that's just the snippet of a small piece of an incomplete game, which is coming soon and is quite promising. All right, enough of this. Let's jump in to our last look at New Cycle. Let's go. All right, here we are back in the city. A message from the community. There's the look at the buildings here. Very nice indeed. A little bit of electrical production already. A little bit of electricity, just a little bit. 200 kilowatts. Welcome to New Cycle. Alright, so this tells us the story about how eventually, after a solar flare, Earth's technology kind of had a bad time, and now humanity's trying to come back and rebuild after the disaster, and trying to have some sort of technology again. We're going to continue without the tutorial this time, and we'll try to do things as quickly as possible. So first and foremost, we need to get some food and water and shelter for our people. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. But before we do that, we need to build those buildings. So we'll need to gather materials to then build those things. We'll start with a field camp over here. That'll specialize in harvesting wood and stone and iron ore a little bit later. I'm going to go ahead and build that maybe facing this way. And then we also need something to process that materials into lumber, so we're going to build ourselves a lumber mill. That's something that we've got unlocked already, so we'll go ahead and place the lumber mill over here. There we go. So logs will be taken from the field camp and then brought over to the lumber mill for processing. So that's pretty cool. So those two buildings will kind of work together. We put that right on the edge. Good. So they'll work together in producing some basic materials for us. Now that they're working on that, let's go ahead and start building some dusty roads. A little further away from camp. Ah, yes, of course. The dusty roads require us to build with power lines, power poles. So we'll need a little bit of lumber already made. So we have to start directly next to camp. Well, let's go ahead and get some other things up that we need. We could probably start with a well. All well and good over here. We'll plop that down and allow our people to get some water. This will also be used for the soup kitchen, so it's not only meant just for people to drink, but also for the making of food. Alright, looks like we got our first building up. Here's our look at the field camp. So we're going to tell 3 workers to work as loggers and 3 as stone miners. But eventually we can unlock iron mines and copper mines on the surface. But eventually we will be able to go down deep underneath the surface of this mountain here and dig for copper, coal, and iron ore too, although there is already some iron ore on the surface. All right, we're selecting our recipe here. We're going to go with logs. So we're going to convert logs into, they call it lumber here. So logs to lumber. Perfect. Oh, things are rocketing already. All right, 2 buildings are already done. I think the construction crews are making the well now. You can see them right there. Very nice. Digging out the well and producing a storage area for the water. Now from there, we're also going to need a little bit of food. So let's go to a soup kitchen, which is on-researched. So we need to now start unlocking some things via research. So we can start with hunting. We can get a little bit of basic construction ready, so stockpiles and things like that. The Oath, which allows people to move in and have housing. And Surveillance, which is like a little scout group that'll go out and look at the worlds around us. All right, let's go ahead and go with establishment to, not establishment, but basic construction to build our stockpile soup kitchen, and then we'll be able to make some simple meals out of that. It'll take a little bit of knowledge and a few days to research. While we wait, though, check it out over here. There's actually a destroyed rail line. Looks like high-speed rail that comes out of this modern-looking tunnel. Kind of some remnants of the old world around. And if we look over here, we also have some coastline. Now, the cool thing about this game, too, is I found out by playing a little bit that there's a wind layer where the wind actually will be funneled between the trees, almost like it's being channeled or canaled in. So if we kind of cut down a few of these trees here, too, we can build windmills right around here, and these windmills will produce a lot more power if we build them there. And, of course, there's going to be a lot more tech in this game and that kind of thing. Now, the music here is good. I'm going to turn this up. The main menu volume is a little quiet. And another thing for you who are maybe possibly downloading this game and want to be able to see the UI a little bit better, you can actually increase the UI size here through the menu. Just go to gameplay. So if you download it and you're having some trouble seeing some things, go ahead and blow it up. And I'll leave it large for you all right now, for those of you who watch on mobile or whatnot. So you're welcome. It's hard to see, so just consider this as like an awesome thing that not a lot of games do correctly. Some of them do have UI zooming, but it always kind of turns out a little weird. But here you can kind of see it fitting in perfectly. So very nice. So easily seen now is our supply of food, meat, and water, to which we don't have a lot. So time to gather. Let's go ahead and start gathering some mushrooms to make some soup. All right, and we'll plop that down over here. Perfect. Now, luckily, the well, even though it does not have a road connected to it, it can function without one. So it will take material to build a road to that, but it doesn't require electricity or anything at the moment. But a lot of buildings can be upgraded eventually. So as you can see, the well will probably be upgraded to like a powered well with a mechanical pump or an electric pump with 42 iron ore or ingots, 26 copper ingots or bronze, and 64 cable. So there is something we can do in the future. So we can't upgrade for now until we have those materials. But a lot of buildings in this game can be upgraded over time. So we'll just kind of have to do that as we go along. All right, let's go ahead and build a road here. Nice. Ah, and it's raining. Good weather effects. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh, and some lightning too. Now, I haven't seen lightning hit any buildings yet, but if it hits a building, it probably would cause damage or a fire. And I have seen fire in this game before too, but just not sure if it's caused by lightning or if it's just over time. A building that's unsafe could cause a fire. We can also name our camp with the option in the upper left corner if we want to. And it looks like we're pumping out a lot of great materials. Excellent. Building crews are hard at work. Wow, look at that guy lugging that big O crate all the way to the gathering camp. That is a long distance to go. Oof. All right, let's build a soup kitchen. We'll build one soup kitchen for now. Each of our soup kitchens will be able to make one recipe, so when we start hunting, we'll be able to take whatever the hunting camp might find. And actually, it's the gatherer that can also do hunting with an upgrade. And so we'll be able to find, like, I don't know, raccoons, birds, deer, turn that all into meat, and then that can also be turned into a stew, too. So we'll be able to make simple meals out of mushrooms and then meat, eventually. So that'll be a good thing. All right, the camp's not using any power yet. Let's go ahead and assign 3 people to start gathering mushrooms. Don't these look like a bunch of chads? These little worker symbols certainly are cool. In fact, here's how work works in this game, by the way. There's a building that we can construct later on known as a boot camp. I think it's called like a technological boot camp or a training boot camp. Essentially what you can do is you can take like a worker and give them some materials like paper and tools in order to learn how to be a craftsman, and there's a chance for them to succeed or fail. So these are kind of like different populations, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 with the worker, craftsman, and specialist, and they all need to be trained to be the next thing. So when a building is fully filled with workers, you can then have a craftsman to kind of add to that workforce as well, and they can add extra production. So they're kind of like it's like in Anno or many other games where you can get like an item and plug it into a building to make it more effective. Well, in this case, you're taking a highly trained person as well as some workers, and you're basically putting them all together in the building, such as a tailor or a blacksmith to make materials faster, or tools faster, or clothing faster. So it's a great way to take a workforce and then add to it with a specialist to almost make it double its production with just one person or 2 extra people. All right, this building's almost done for the soup, so that's super. Very nice. More logs. Oh, look at this. We got a hand-drawn cart coming through town. We got a guy here lugging this whole thing. Now, in the trailer for this game, I've also seen trade come in via elephants. So there's some pretty big trade wagons that can come through that are being pulled by elephants and things like that. So there are other civilizations out there that we can trade with that are trying to do the same thing we are, and trying to find resources in different places and bring them all together to kind of rebuild society over time. All right, mushrooms are now being turned into simple meals. We have water, all good. So the next thing we need to do is get to the next era. So we need to have 50 people in the camp in order to get to Era 2, which will unlock a lot of new stuff for us. And that's how we will eventually make bricks, and we'll be able to make new materials like paper, and thus we can start doing more advanced research. So that's pretty good. All right, let's see if we can do some more research while we're waiting. Looks like we have nothing unlocked at the moment, but the oath would be the next thing, through knowledge, which we gain just through time. So right now we're at 245 knowledge, and that'll go up over time. So we're kind of on rails no matter what we do. We can keep building stuff, but we want to build homes, and we want to build advanced production, but we got to wait for our workers to arrive in order to unlock new things and to work in those buildings. Make a big old long road here. Love the look of the landscape too, by the way. All these little trees, flowers, a log that's down, smaller trees. I haven't seen something like this since Farthest Frontier, and this is perfect. Like really, really good looking landscape. With just, rather than generic grass, you actually can see like some rocks and such too that go all the way down to the beach. Maybe it's an old pathway. Maybe there was something else here before. Maybe it's an old roadway. But it looks great. Alright, still waiting. More people coming back. Good. The group should arrive at the camp soon. Let's speed up time and take a look at anything else we may want to put down. A stockpile. That would be good. Go ahead and plop that down here. And that'll be for the storage of stone, lumber, logs, anything else that we make. Spring of year 1, we're almost into the summer. No dangerous weather events observed, so no risk of like a sandstorm or something like that at the moment. Very nice. And there they go. Construction crews are working. Hey, look at that. A bunch of massive pallets. Luckily, nobody really has to work there, and it's a quick building to build, so that's an easy solution for our storage needs. Very nice. All right, let's see if we got anything to research. Let's do homes now. 385. Let's start that research. Now, if we don't do this research ahead of time, the game will prompt you with requests from the citizens to build or to do certain things that they want, like food, water, shelter, and maybe growing the town by recruiting more people too. So they'll tell you over time what you might need to do. All right, we've now unlocked the shack. Let's go ahead and slow down time for a minute while we place this. Under residence, we'll build a few shacks. Let's see. There we go. 4 of those should be more than enough to start with. And we'll build a road down this way too. To which we're out of wood. So we'll go ahead and wait for more logs to be processed into timber or lumber. Good construction noises. Sounds like progress. 2 done. Now each of these homes can hold 10 people. These homes are also upgradable, and I believe they also use power. So we have ourselves 10 power from each building being consumed, and some of our productive buildings will do that as well. All right, people are asking for sturdy roofs, just like I mentioned. Build 3 shacks. Let's build. So that'll only count as 1 being built, because that one's not yet complete, so we'll probably just build 2 more. And that should be more than enough housing. We won't really need any more housing than that. 4 is probably enough. 6 is a little overkill, but if you get a lot of people moving into the town, then that's going to be an important thing to track. Alright, more logs being made. I think we need to make more logs faster. Let's build another lumber mill. And we'll plop it down right about here. Now, eventually we'll need to make things like paper, and paper is made at the lumber mill, so to have 2 lumber mills now is a good thing to boost our lumber production so we can kind of continuously build buildings fast. And then we can switch to a different type, and then we'll be able to produce both logs into lumber and logs into paper. And so we'll probably eventually need another field camp soon, but that's a building that can also be upgraded to the next tier too, and that'll cost a little bit of material, but we'll be able to do it when we reach the next era. But remember, we need 50 population to reach that era. Well, let's hire some more workers. And we have 13 out of 35 people remaining, so 13 are unemployed at the moment. And so we got to give them some jobs. That's on us. We got to get that done. But we also need more people to move in order for buildings to be approved. Hey, not bad. This neighborhood looks nice. Good. Immigrants! Alright, a group of people want to move in of 8 workers. Accepted. Excellent. Now we have 43. If we can get another group of immigrants, we'll get to 50 and we'll be good. Let's continue to build some roads here. Oh, it went nighttime on me. There we go. We were in a different layer view. Hey, speaking of nighttime, though, one thing you can do in this game is you can automatically or manually make it daytime. You can make it afternoon, nighttime, or you can make it morning, or you can have a 24-hour clock that kind of follows whatever time it is in the game, like this. Pretty cool. All right, objective complete. They're happy with their homes. Good. Now, another thing we're going to focus on next is we're going to go to this group and give them more food and water. So now that we got some basics going, we're going to increase their amount of distribution for simple meals and for water, so that way they can kind of be a little happier. So they will eventually have more complex needs of tools, clothing, entertainment, health, and security. And those are really basic needs, but we can't get them at the moment. So things are going to happen over time. So we're going to start feeding our people a little bit more. Give them more water. They've been working hard, so now we can sustain that from all their hard work. They're doing a great job. We'll build a little bit of a roadway here. And roads in this game, by the way, cannot be made off like one tile. You have to kind of make a several tile long road, and I believe that's just because of the power lines that are associated with it. So some buildings might not technically be connected. But it's close enough. All right, we're pumping out a lot of lumber. That's excellent. Let's go back to technology, see what we can unlock next. We can now go for some metalworking, so we can build a forge. Go ahead and do that. We can now start taking advantage of our iron that's nearby. Iron deposits on the surface, which are over here. You can kind of see. It looks like coal, but those are little bits of iron deposit. And we'll be able to build a forge and then a smithy in order to make tools, and that'll make everybody's work even better. It'll be even easier for them. All right, let's fix this little road here. You can see how the power lines kind of try to fix themselves and change based on the road type you've selected. Pretty cool. All right, the people want stability. Let's go ahead and give them food for 3 days. What they're asking for now is normal rations for 3 days, so we just need 3 days to pass, and then they've completed that goal. Alright. Heading into winter soon. We're now heading into the fall, the autumn. Alright, now we can put down a forge, a smith, and start making iron ingots and basic tools. Let's do it. Let's build a smithy. Build that a little bit out of town. Get out of town. And we'll build 2 forges. And we'll allow somebody to start working as an iron worker. 3 people. We now have 18 people remaining in the camp for workers. Let's go ahead and get ourselves another well. And we'll plop that down about here. Good. Let's build another soup kitchen. Oh, the music's so lovely. And let's increase the... I guess we can't increase the priority of these buildings. But the forges are ready. Now we can start smelting that iron into iron ingots. There's a tree in the way of the forge. That's alright. Alright, the smithy's going to be built next. Here they come with all those materials. And now we can start making tools. And we completed the objective for food. Alright, let's start making tools. Alright, let's take a look at everybody's happiness now. We'll go ahead and distribute more tools. That'll increase our morale a bit, and might increase the amount of people who will come to the camp because they'll hear good things from the people when they come visit. More mushrooms, please. Alright, lots of tools coming in, lots of good stuff happening. Let's research power next. Let's do that, a power grid, which will allow us to build windmills out of iron ingots and also wood. It's going to be a good thing to make some windmills down here. We'll build a big old pathway all the way down to the water. Now we can also fish in this game too, so if we build a gatherer's hut near the water, we can use that to fish. And again, it can also gather mushrooms and can do hunting too. And it looks like we can get herbs from that as well, so that must be a medicinal building, although I have not yet seen that in the demo. Technology unlocked for power. Excellent. Take a look at what we got next. We can now unlock hunting. Fantastic. That'll give us a new food type for the kitchen and probably raise morale even more. Let's go with production of power. Now the great thing is too is if we build a road to our power grid, we don't have to bother with building power lines since it's built kind of at the same time. So it's pretty cool. So as you can see here, if we build our windmills right about here, they're going to produce quite a bit of power. We'll build 2 of these along the road just to get us started. Iron limbs, we need more. Ah yes, they want more tools. Let's go ahead and get those going. Beautiful. Alright, so we need to make 50 tools. That'll be easy. And the windmills are going up now too. And so is the rain. Now the power grid is creating 213. And I think each of these makes more based on, well, wherever the windmill is placed. So 70% efficiency times 2. Looks like 133 from each of these. Wow. You can see our consumption is 120. Production is 466. No real way to store power from what I've seen, so we'll just need to keep making more and more of it. Alright, we only have 4 workers remaining. Let's change one of those recipes now. We're going to do hunting, which will give us leather, and that, of course, will give us clothing later on. So let's get those numbers up. And let's change our second soup kitchen to meat. Good. Now we're making mushrooms and meat stews. Oh, it looks like it actually doesn't take water to make that. So it's, even though it's called a soup kitchen, since it doesn't require water, I guess you can have mushroom stew with maybe some steak in it. Stakes are high when it comes to good food. Alright, objective complete on those iron tools. And winter is coming. It's almost here. The music's going to drop. It's going to be dramatic. It's going to be epic as hell. Here it comes. Alright, next thing we want is diplomacy. That means paper. So the only way we can make paper now is we need vocational training. And we can't do vocational training until we've got to the next era. So we need to get our population up to 50. So we just need some random people to move in order to then research vocational training, which will then allow us to get paper. And then we can make a lot more industries that way. So we can get into a pit, which can mine sand or clay. So we can make either glass or bricks. And then, of course, with glass, we can then start providing that to buildings for upgrades and more advanced production. And there's the snow. It has arrived. And hopefully some people arrive too into the camp. Hopefully they want to move in. Our people now at 65 morale. Hopefully continuing to go up. We could also increase our meals a little bit. And go ahead and give extra rations, extra water, and extra tools, since we have so many. And that'll just further increase the morale. Let's go with another well. We will need more water, and it's pretty easy to get. We just want to make sure that the bar on the left side there is pretty high. See where it is now? That's pretty good for well. You'd think it was. You'd think it would be about the circle connecting to as many of those water droplets on the screen that would be possible. But you really got to see the fertility, or really like the amount of water, the moisture. That's what you're really looking for. All right, we're pumping out food. Excellent. Water's going down, but we're building new wells. Winter is here. Ah, that music. Oh, and it's over. That's the winter theme, but we're turboing through so we can try to see as much of the game as possible, and so I can give you as many end-game, mid-game tips as I can for the currently available demo. Good. Morale's now at like 45, almost 90. Excellent. So all of that distribution really matters. Looks like they care more about the water and food than they do the tools. Let's just go down to normal distribution for the tools. Lumber mills are not producing since we have the stockpiles full. We could make another one, I suppose. Wow, 2,600 food. Let's just go all out with the food. Double rations. Great. And water will keep it where it is. Alright, so far so good. Very good indeed. We just need people to move in. Plus 40 morale to all classes due to spring has sprung. Oh, look at all that productivity. And we got plenty of empty houses. Look at those numbers come in. Now, an interesting thing about the hunting is that eventually we're going to have to scale back on that because there'll be concerns about the local wildlife going extinct. So We'll want to pull back on making extra food and whatnot from the meat production and also leather and clothing because the animals won't be as plentiful. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that and make sure it doesn't get too out of control. We only have one person that's not working at the moment. Lucky guy. Not really anything else we can do here. Materials are full again. You can see all the materials here. Stones, wood. I think even water can be stored here too in kegs. Wow, pretty awesome. Alright, we just need somebody to move in. Now I'm wondering, it says summer year 2, but now because Earth was hit by a solar flare, things are screwed up completely, so the winters could literally last only 40 days. It might seem like, oh, it should be 365, but who knows with Earth's atmosphere being all out of whack from the solar flare too. Interesting thing to consider. Ah, good. More people here. Excellent. Welcome aboard. Now we get 12. Perfect. And now we're in a new era. We've reached a new era. So now we've unlocked all the buildings at the bottom, including the tavern, the smelter, the kiln, the pit, technical boot camp, tailor, basic mine, residence, storehouse, and the resource camp, which allows us to create copper ingots, bronze, wire, clay, bricks, paper, clothes, copper ore, coal, sand, and glass. So there's going to be some big O industries that we have to get into. But first, we got to research them. So first things first, the vocational training to take advantage of that paper and change one of the lumber mills to paper. And then we can start training some new people, some new recruits. You can kind of see where these buildings are located at the technical boot camp, for example, which allows us to train craftsmen and specialists. And I think they go 1, 2, 3. So you have to make a worker into a craftsman, and then a craftsman into a specialist. Oh, they're very special. Very special indeed. All right, research is almost done. And there it goes. Technical boot camp and paper unlocked. Let's now go for... well, I guess the tavern's here. Let's unlock that too. And let's switch this to... actually, now that we're fully loaded on wood, let's just switch everybody to paper. And we'll switch back and forth between the two. Now, another great thing about this game is that we can actually change the materials. So if at the top we don't want to look at any sort of data regarding something anymore, we can change it. So if you wanted to, remove clay from the list and replace it with paper, you could do that. But we've already got paper at the top of the screen, so let's start. So they want us to produce an additional 400 paper from when we just got that quest. And paper will be needed for research, so it is quite important. Alright, we could do surveillance next, which will unlock the Scouts Guild. Let's do that. On ending preparation, we must be ready. They now want us to stack up 3,000 water and 1,200 simple meals. Prepare the stockpiles. Alright, so now we just need 3,000 water, so let's build a little bit more in the wells. We'll try to go for wherever the most deposits are. Pretty good spot over here. There we go. And of course we'll be doing mining around that mountain, so... and another great thing about this game is that we have to take samples and find out where the materials are. So once we want to build a mine, we then have to drill into the mine, or into the mountain to find out where those resources are. Alright, let's switch back to mushrooms. We'll let the meat population go back up again. Hunters are having some trouble finding meat. Available resource 0. Alright, let's let that population come back. Alright, paper complete. Back to research. Let's start looking for structural statics. So we could do kiln, pit, clay, and brick. So basically we're researching brickworks. That'll be done shortly, and we can build a big old pit. Maybe down here. Next to the water. There we go. And we got over 2,000 papers, so let's switch back to logs. And back to research again. We can now research clothing. So we can now, under weaving, research the tailor and make clothing from all of those leather hides. Or the tanned hides, I suppose. Back into winter again. Now we need to make ourselves a pit. And that we can set to mine clay or sand. But I think we'll set it to clay first and try to start making some bricks. And the tailor's ready too. Let's go ahead and put a tailor maybe over by the... maybe by the village. Here's a good spot. We'll build 2 of those. Clothing are quite important. Looks like we need more... something to build that. Ah, we need bricks to be able to build the tailor. Interesting. We can build a kiln nearby. Put people to work in the mine. So we can gather sand, stone, or clay as well. So if we have a shortage of stone, we can bop up the numbers here a little bit. We can only produce 1 resource at a time, so that's why it's a good idea to monitor them and then just switch between the 3. So if you need a little bit of sand because you're going to build your glassworks, you can get those numbers up before you build it. And if you're short on stone and want to build something, you just switch to that temporarily. Now the kiln also makes glass, so it's a glassworks and a brick factory in one. So you can kind of just keep it nearby. Full warehouse comfort. Alright, good. We've got everything we needed. Water and food were supplied. They're happy. And we now need to make that weaver's area now. Alright, let's go ahead and switch... let's switch iron ore. To which we're out of that. Now we're going to have to start mining. A larger scale operation on mining. Oh, there's no more resources here. Wait, there's some there. Or is that coal? That should be iron, although it says now 0. So we got to start researching mining then. Let's get into that. Insulated furnaces or divided layers. Well, we'd like to do mining as soon as possible. And that's there. So we need more paper for mine surveying. Let's go ahead and have people make some paper again. And then we can start mining. And now we have a fire in the town. Alright, we're going to research mines so we can keep making iron and tools. And there's a fire. So the cool thing about this is that it actually gives us a way to respond to the fire. We're going to do a full response. And possibly it'll send out a group, which you can't really see because they're inside this building. But there'll actually be like a guy with a pump and a bunch of kegs pumping water from the kegs onto the fire. The chance that the fire could be, well, might destroy the building, but luckily it's not a bad problem. Overhunting. Yeah, we've pulled back on hunting for now. They want us to pull back. We're going to respect the balance of nature and cut off the hunting grounds for now. Things will come back now. Available resources at 17,000. We'll come back to that a little bit later. Alright, basic mining is now ready. Well, with the fire raging, let's now look at mining right next to that. So we can start clicking on resources and find out what they might be by placing some mines nearby. So, let's go to our mine under resource, basic mine. And you can see the resources here. And we can build a mine next to these resources to find out what they are. So we want copper, coal, and iron ore. We're going to go ahead and build at least 2 mines to start. And we'll find out what's here. So let's discover these areas. Takes us a little bit of resources to do the research. But basically we're prospecting and finding out what's under that mountain. As soon as we find more materials. So we got plenty of clay. Let's switch to bricks now. Or sorry, from clay to stone, as we're still making bricks. So the stone numbers will go up. And we probably need to do a little bit more gathering of wood. So let's build another field camp. And we'll do it over here. And there's stone nearby as well. An industrial step. Oh, look at that background. Beautiful. Alright, let's get the pickaxes ready. We're going mining. We're going to get it done. Alright, we have a few people to now make clothing. That'll increase morale even more. Let's start with 2. Empowers at a severe decifit. That's right. Decifit nicely over here. That's where that's going to fit. Boom. We'll put these in a row. Perfect. Alright, so now we got 3 more windmills going, or 2 more going up. We'll have a total of 4. We shouldn't really be able to put them in a line like that, but it's fine. The deficit of power will be fixed. Okay. Hey, now the mines are ready. We just need to find out what's here, and we'll connect these up a little bit later. But we built them out in the middle of nowhere, kind of. But they look real good. And they sound good, too. Like they're living and breathing. Alright, let's make some roadways out there. There we are. Now these will be turned off. We can also upgrade these too, but let's turn these off so they don't take any of our power for now. And we have a little bit of a surplus for now until these 2 windmills are completed. And we'll have to build another mine soon. Now, unfortunately, we don't have all the people in the world to work in these buildings, so we got to pick and choose things first in order to keep people motivated. Let's at least cut down some trees and mine some stone. Keep up the stone and the lumber numbers. Alright, let's switch to mining sand now. We can't. We need more research. Alright. Let's get some more stuff done. Shall we? There we go. Perfect. So now we got more people here. Excellent. Very good indeed. Oh. And now we got a sandstorm blowing through. Oh, baby. Oh, it's a biggin'. A sandstorm's blowing in, boys. Woo! That's gonna be trouble. Wow. That's crazy. Yep, still blowing in, and my oh my, that is a lot of damage. Well, not necessarily. It's just going to continuously blow through the town and slow down production and whatnot. Love the look of these buildings too, by the way. My first close look at the Taylor actually made of brick. Looks nice with the, wow, you can actually see inside the structure a bit too. Kind of cool. You can see the stairwell going up there and seeing where the belt passes through. Not bad. You can see through the house to the other side, but I admire that level of detail. So this kind of reminds me of when the sandstorms begin in Endzone: A World Apart as well, where, you know, all the things that happen in that game usually kind of either hinder your production or hinder your ability to build something or to gather water. Luckily, water here is mostly under the surface and we're able to easily get it, so it's not too big of a concern. But we'll speed up time and wait for that sandstorm to come in. Oof. Blowing through the trees and stuff too, how weird. Must just be ripping that bark off. Oh, look at that, wow. Well, people bringing kegs in, but I don't know why. To the tannery that only requires leather. Alright, well now the mines are ready. But we can now start testing for what's underneath the surface, so let's go ahead and have a few people go do that. We'll send off a few scouts to go look for that. I think there's another one around here somewhere too. But copper and iron and coal are what are primarily under this mountain. And it looks like we need a lot more stone too. Are we mining that up at this mine? Looks like we're able to mine 6 stone per day, which is weird. for 10 people to mine. That's crazy. We still have 13 workers remaining. Each mine require... Oh, actually, we need to see what's there. Oh, looks like this is coal. Yeah, looks like we have coal here, so we can mine that. So it looks like it takes 10 workers. We'll go ahead and hire maybe 4 to start with. And we need power here. And we're producing plus 41. That's not enough. Those windmills need to be complete. To which we're out of iron for them to be able to mine and smelt. So what we need to do now is create another field camp and see if we can find another surface deposit of iron. Seems to be some there, so we'll build another little deposit here. Perfect. So we'll build that, we'll get some more stone, we'll get some more iron and whatnot off the surface, and then we can go below to continuously mine more resources underground. Not bad. Let's do residence, dusty road. Oh, that's weird. Oh, there it goes. Alright, let's put people on iron ore. And then we'll be able to make ingots. And then we'll be able to make tools. And those ingots will go to the windmills, and then we'll have power for the mines. So the mines will probably be a more infinite source. No, it's not infinite, but it'll be a much more productive source. The surface mines only allow for 3. Underground allows for 10. Well, that's cool. Wow, you can actually see the resources under the ground, too. Where they may be. Cool. So it looks like we could build a mine in the midst of these resources. So we could have built a mine maybe here, and it would have been able to switch between those 3 resources. But by doing it this way, we'll be able to mine coal and copper separately. And we can also mine more iron, too. But these surface deposits will be enough for a little while. We'll burn through them rather quickly, but at least it gives us a little bit of a boost. And we have our windmills up. So now we got our 307 power. Alright, time to start mining. Let's throw the switch and turn those on. Excellent, the mining has begun. Go ahead and employ everybody. And there we go. Now we just need more hides for clothing, yeah. So we should have hunters going. So we need to get some more free workers here. Well, we got enough stone. We'll switch back to clay. Let's go ahead and cut that down to like 5. We'll assign some people to hunt again so we can make more clothing. And we have 2 people free, to which we'll bring them to the iron mine. Okay, let's go ahead and build something so we can train our people to specialists. The technical boot camp is what we're looking for. And we still need even more power. And rain again. Alright, so from here, the technical boot camp will be able to train specialists, and then we'll be able to add them to the tailor, which will increase output of clothing. But that's going to be all hindered by the lack of leather being produced, but that's fine. We could actually make another tailor if we wanted to. If the production is fast enough. And we need more. Looks like we made a ton of iron ore into ingots. Wow, it's actually backed up there so much. Looks like we need lumber now. So let's switch again. Oh yeah, the other lumber mill now burned down. We'll have to rebuild that. It seems to be a dice roll to put those out. I'm not sure exactly how to... Other than clicking on them and telling the workforce to go and try to put out the fire. I'm not sure exactly how to do that. Alright, now we're pumping out tools like crazy. Good. And as for research... We can do insulated furnaces, which will allow us to make wire, and that'll allow us to upgrade some of the buildings. So, as I mentioned, the well, or maybe even the kilns and the smith can be upgraded. so we can upgrade everything to the next tier. We just need to start making wire and glass. And since we have so many brick already, we'll probably go ahead and switch this mine to make glass now. There might be a way to do that. We might need research. I think we might need research for that. Oh yeah, divided layers. So once we research that, we'll be able to make glass, and we're already able to make wires with the smelter. So with that, we then can start making the end game stuff in order to then start upgrading buildings. So pretty much everything can be upgraded. The homes, I think even the stockpiles can be upgraded to hold more. Yeah. Just everything's going to take wire from here on out. So it's going to come down to a lot of copper production. And from here, we're going to keep adding our workforces to, well, one, we keep them happy, so when people come to town, they will move in and stay permanently. And then two, all those workforces should be put into the mines to where we can take some workforce away from the surface mining and then put a few into the subterranean iron mines. In fact, we don't even need that many workers on coal and or iron for now. Now, the coal will be used in the smelters and maybe might need to be used in the kiln, perhaps as a fuel source. Looks like we can even make water here. Or no, it's a requirement to make bricks. Stone and clay and water will make the bricks. So we need to continuously mine stone and clay. So it might be necessary to build 2 pits too. Even if you're not going to use a full workforce, this is almost an endless source of material. In fact, I don't think there's an end to the amount of stone and clay that you can get out of these pits. So good stuff though. Well, let's go ahead and continuously make more logs now. And everything's going. And a flock of burrows have joined us. 12 workers now. We now have 13 free. And we might have a homeless problem. So we can build some more houses down here. Let's build some houses here and connect them to a roadway later. First important part is to actually build them. So with all the additional workers that arrive, we'll put them into work in our smelters and our additional buildings that we build for productivity. I don't even see the smelter available, actually. Smith Taylor stockpile might not be available in the demo. It should be, though. Or maybe the forge can be upgraded to a smelter, that kind of thing. We need 62 wires. That might be something we have to make at that building, but regardless, our work here is done, I'd say. Oh, looks like we're out of mushrooms. And we'll switch the recipe back to meat. And we'll gather up those mushrooms again. Cool. Problem solved. Meals are coming in. Excellent. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the crash course demo walkthrough for News Cycle. Again, you can get this game or add it to your wish list with the link down below in the description and try out the demo too. Looking forward to further development in this game with the addition of conveyor belts, defenses, a campaign, and also scenarios coming soon. But thank you very much for all your support. Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Don't forget to leave a like on the way out. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thank you very much for becoming members, smacking that join button, and supporting the channel like never before. You guys are awesome. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.